Hey, what is going on, everybody? Today I wanted to show off my Hailey gun build for Gluttony. I'm going to be going over everything you're going to want to need for this build. Starting off with the Enduring Legacy, you can opt for using the Greg's Reverse Fate for this build. Starting off with the Enduring Legacy build, this is the build that I'm running with. If you're wondering why I'm not using Sharp Precision Shot with weak point damage, this build is focused around being able to hit the boss everywhere around his body and still doing consistent damage. You can opt for going with Sharp Precision Shot over Mental Focus and then going Weak Point Sight over Fire Enhancement. If you do get rid of Fire Enhancement over Weak Point Sight, you are going to want a Fire Attack substat on your weapon. If you do not have a Fire Attack substat on your weapon, I highly do not recommend taking off Fire Enhancement. You do need to do burn procs on the target to activate the unique ability for the Enduring Legacy. Now for the Hailey build, this one is going to be focusing on maxing out your skill cost and maxing out your skill cooldown. So what I mean by that is you are going to want to reduce your skill cost as much as possible and also reduce your cooldowns as much as possible. For the cooldowns, you are going to want to run Nimble Fingers and MP Conversion. And for the skill cost, you are going to want to run Maximize Conservation and Strong Mentality. If you notice, this build does have HP Collector. This mod you do not want to actually run. The only reason why I'm running this mod is because I do not have enough slots for HP Collector. You are definitely going to want to put HP Collector over MP Collector because it will help you out with survivability, and you do not need MP Collector for this boss fight. And then for the two most important mods for this build, these mods are mandatory, and if you are not running them, then you are just hindering your overall defense and damage. The two mods that I'm going to be talking about is Antifreeze Solution. This makes it to where you are immune to Frostbite. What Frostbite is whenever Gluttony shoots you with one of his abilities, you will be frozen in place for a certain amount of time. This will really make it to where you will go down, like you are going to have a really high chance of going down if he hits you with Frostbite. So this mod particularly is very important in this build. You are going to want to run Antifreeze. It is a must for Gluttony. And then the other mod I'm going to be talking about is Shot Focus. Shot Focus pretty much makes it to where your firearm attack goes up by 15% and you lose a skill modifier by 15%, but you are not going to be using any damage skills. I will go over that in a bit. And then you are going to want to run Increase HP and Stim Accelerant. The reason why you want to run 2 HP mods is because you are going to want as much hit points as possible so that you don't get one shot by Gluttony and you can tank around like maybe 2 to 3 shots. And then obviously just increase defense for just the more defense. So going over Hailey's abilities, the reason why I am not running a lot of crit hit rate is because you're going to be using this ability called Cold Fury. Pretty much whenever you get stacks of Cold Fury, you are going to get stacks of crit hit rate on your weapon. You're going to want to have this active whenever you're doing DPS to Gluttony. You are also going to want to spam cryo rounds whenever you are shooting your weapon. This pretty much gives you an additional 50% damage to your overall damage. So if you are not using your first ability, you need to use your first ability whenever you're shooting at Gluttony. And then for the two abilities that you don't want to use at all in this fight, you are not going to want to use Storm Snare and you're not going to want to use Zenith. These two weapons are not going to do any damage to the boss since the boss is super resistant to skill power. For the Reactor, it really doesn't matter if you have a mounting from the weapon or not. You are not going to be using your skills, so again, any singular Reactor will do fine. The most important part about this Reactor is the substats. You are going to want to focus on trying to get one with a gold skill cost, and for the second substat, you are either going to want to go for cooldown or HP heal modifier. The reason why you're going to want to go for HP heal modifier is pretty much whenever you see the little HP pots on the floor, the little glowing squares, you are going to get more HP whenever you pick them up. It is just another bonus to your survivability. If you do not care for that, cooldown is going to be your best bet because you are going to get your one a lot quicker and you're going to be able to spam your one more often, which means more damage. For the external components, I am running the full Slayer set. The reason why I'm running this is because of the general round capacity and the rounds per magazine. You're just going to get more bullets in your magazine and more ammo in general. This is definitely not for the skill power again, you're not going to be using any skills that do damage. So I kind of wanted to go over the Gluttony boss fight real quick and kind of just talk about the mechanics that the boss has. So pretty much there are going to be 3 things you're going to need to look out for. There is a purple gauge on the boss's weapon. If you notice, whenever you're shooting at the boss, one of his arms is going to have a little purple gauge on it, and if that gauge fills up to the max amount on his weapon, so it glows fully purple, this will activate the wipe phase. The way you counteract this is throughout the fight there are going to be these deposits that are going to shoot out these ice balls, and pretty much what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shoot these ice balls at Gluttony. This is going to cool down his weapon and make it to where that gauge goes down. And then for his immunity phase, he is going to be immune until you are able to break his immunity shield. The way you break his immunity shield is there are going to be these purple balls that come out of the dispensers. How this works is you are going to wait until the purple balls travel close to Gluttony, and you are going to shoot the purple balls that are near him. They are going to do an explosion, which is going to do a burst of damage to his shield. You're going to do this around 3 to 4 times, and then it will break his immunity shield. While you're firing at the boss, the 2 most important places to shoot at him are going to be his knees and his shoulders. You are going to want to shoot his shoulders until they glow yellow. You do not want to break the shoulders. The reason why you want to keep them at yellow is for one of your teammates to grapple onto his shoulders and pretty much extend his vulnerable state. Once you've gotten his shoulders to yellow, you are just going to want to shoot at his knees, his chest, or his face. These are going to be the other weak points that you can shoot at. The average amount of damage I get with this build is usually around 60 million to 70 million. You can go upwards to 100 million. I've done that before. But the fight did last about like 4-ish minutes. And yeah, that is pretty much it. I'm just going to show you guys a Gluttony run, a full run of me doing this just in pubs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.